In the dim light of a flickering lantern, the tavern buzzed with the low murmur of sailors recounting their exploits on the high seas. The salty air filtered through the wooden beams, mingling with the scent of ale and adventure. It was here, in this raucous establishment, that tales of Davy Jones were spun like webs, each thread weaving a narrative that danced between myth and reality. But behind the bravado of the sailors, there lay a deeper truth about the enigmatic figure known as Davy Jones. Davy Jones was not merely a figment of drunken imagination. He was a real man, a captain whose life had become a cautionary tale whispered among seafarers. The origins of his name were shrouded in mystery, but one tale suggested that he was once a man of the sea, a pirate captain who ruled the waves with an iron fist. His ship, the Flying Dutchman, was said to be cursed, doomed to sail the oceans for eternity, crewed by souls who had met a tragic end. To the sailors, the mention of Davy Jones conjured images of a ghostly figure, a spectre who claimed the lives of those who dared to cross him. As the night deepened, an old sailor with a weathered face and eyes that sparkled with mischief leaned closer to the group. With a voice that cracked like the timbers of a ship in stormy seas, he began to recount the tale of Davy Jones. He spoke of a time when the seas were wild and untamed, a time when men sought fortune and glory, often at the expense of their very souls. The old sailor's voice was a melody of despair and reverence, capturing the essence of what it meant to be a sailor in those perilous days. "Listen closely, lads," he said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Davy Jones was no ordinary man. They say he made a pact with the depths of the ocean, trading his humanity for the power to command the storms and the spirits of the drowned. He became a keeper of souls, a collector of those who had met their fate at sea. If you found yourself in the clutches of Davy Jones, it meant your time was up. You were destined to join his ghostly crew, bound to the Flying Dutchman for eternity." The sailors leaned in, captivated by the old man's words, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. The tavern's atmosphere shifted, the laughter fading into a solemn silence as the tale unfolded. The old sailor continued, weaving a narrative that was rich with the salt of the sea and the weight of lost lives. He spoke of the storms that raged when Davy Jones was near, of the eerie silence that fell over the ocean before a ship met its doom. It was said that the very waters would churn and boil, as if the sea itself was in collusion with the captain of the damned. Many a ship has sailed too close to the edge of his realm, the old sailor warned. They say that when the fog rolls in thick and the waves crash like thunder, it is a sign that Davy Jones is on the prowl. He would rise from the depths, his crew of lost souls at his side, ready to claim the unwary. Those who looked into his eyes would see the reflection of their own demise, the darkness that awaited them beneath the waves. The tavern's patrons exchanged uneasy glances, each man recalling tales of friends lost to the sea, ships that had vanished without a trace. The old sailor's words resonated with their own fears, a reminder of the fragility of life on the open water. But amid the terror, there was also a sense of wonder. Davy Jones was more than a harbinger of death. He was a symbol of the ocean's vastness, a reminder of the mysteries that lay beneath the surface. As the night wore on, the old sailor's tale took a turn. He spoke of a time when Davy Jones himself was said to have fallen in love with a mermaid, a creature of beauty and grace who swam in the depths of the ocean. Their love was forbidden, for the mermaid belonged to the sea, while Davy was bound to the mortal realm. Desperate to be with her, he sought the help of dark forces, making a deal that would forever alter the course of his life. In his quest for love, he lost everything, the old sailor said, his voice heavy with sorrow. The mermaid, frightened by the darkness that surrounded him, fled from his grasp. In his rage, he turned to the ocean, cursing the very waters that had once brought him joy. It was then that he became the keeper of lost souls, a guardian of the depths, forever searching for the one he had lost. The patrons listened in rapt attention, the flickering candlelight casting shadows on their faces, as they imagined the tragic love story unfolding in the depths of the ocean. The old sailor's voice trembled with emotion, and for a moment the tavern felt like a sacred space where the past and present converged. The tale of Davy Jones was no longer just a story of death. It was a story of longing, of love, that transcended the boundaries of life and death. As the night drew to a close, the old sailor's tale faded into the background chatter of the tavern. Yet the essence of Davy Jones lingered in the air, a reminder of the dangers that lurked beneath the waves. The sailors raised their mugs in a toast to the sea, to the adventures that awaited them, and to the spectre of Davy Jones, who watched over them from the depths. In the days that followed, the tale of Davy Jones continued to echo in the hearts and minds of those who sailed the treacherous waters. They spoke of him not just as a figure of fear, but as a symbol of the ocean's power, a reminder of the sacrifices made in the pursuit of adventure. The stories grew, evolving with each retelling, as sailors added their own experiences to the mythos surrounding the legendary captain. Some claim to have seen the Flying Dutchman sailing through the fog, its sails billowing like the wings of a ghostly bird. Others swore they heard the cries of lost souls carried on the wind, a haunting melody that echoed across the waves. The ocean, with its unpredictable nature, became a canvas for the imagination, and Davy Jones was its brush, painting tales of triumph and tragedy. Yet, as the stories spread, so did the warnings. Sailors began to carry tokens of protection, charms crafted from shells and bones, talismans meant to ward off the curse of Davy Jones. They whispered prayers to the sea, seeking favor from the spirits that roamed the depths. The legend became a part of their lives, a thread woven into the very fabric of their existence. Years passed, and the tales of Davy Jones evolved into a rich tapestry of lore, each sailor adding their own unique flair. Some spoke of his fearsome appearance, a man with the face of a squid, while others described him as a dashing figure clad in tattered finery with eyes that glowed like lanterns in the dark. But regardless of the details, one truth remained. Davy Jones was a force to be reckoned with, a reminder of the ocean's capricious nature. Then came the day when a young sailor named Thomas set out on his first voyage. Eager and filled with the bravado of youth, he dismissed the tales of Davy Jones as mere superstition. He had heard the stories in the tavern, but they felt distant, like echoes of a past that no longer held sway over the present. With a crew of seasoned sailors, he embarked on a journey that would take them to the farthest reaches of the ocean. A quest for treasure and glory. As the days turned into weeks, the crew encountered storms that tested their resolve. The winds howled like banshees, and the waves crashed against the ship with a ferocity that left them breathless. Yet, through it all, Thomas remained undeterred, confident in his ability to navigate the treacherous waters. But as they sailed deeper into the heart of the storm, a thick fog enveloped them, obscuring their vision and sending a chill down their spines. It was in that moment, as the fog rolled in, that the stories of Davy Jones came rushing back to Thomas. He could almost hear the old sailor's voice, warning him of the dangers that lay ahead. Panic gripped him as he glanced at his crew, their faces pale with fear. The wind howled louder, and the ship creaked ominously, as if it too sensed the presence of the legendary captain. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the mist, a ship unlike any they had ever seen. Its sails were tattered, and its hull appeared to be made of decaying wood. The Flying Dutchman had appeared just as the legends foretold. Thomas's heart raced as he realized they were not merely sailing through the fog, they were sailing into the very realm of Davy Jones. As the ghostly ship drew closer, Thomas felt a pull, a magnetic force that beckoned him toward the abyss. He fought against it, calling to his crew to steer clear. But the fog thickened, wrapping around them like a shroud. The crew's fear transformed into desperation as they struggled to regain control of the ship. But it was as if the ocean itself conspired against them. In that moment of chaos, Thomas glimpsed the figure of Davy Jones, standing at the helm of the Flying Dutchman, his eyes piercing through the fog like twin beacons of doom. The old sailor's words echoed in his mind, and he understood the weight of the tales that had been shared in the tavern. This was no mere story. It was a reality that had come to claim them. With a surge of courage, Thomas shouted to his crew, urging them to fight against the pull of the ghostly ship. They rallied together, their determination igniting a fire within them. They struggled against the currents, the ship groaning under the strain, but they refused to succumb to the darkness that threatened to engulf them. As they fought, Thomas felt a strange connection with the ocean, as if the very waters were responding to their defiance. The fog began to dissipate, revealing the vast expanse of the sea. The Flying Dutchman, once a looming spectre, began to fade into the distance, the figure of Davy Jones retreating back into the abyss. Exhausted but victorious, the crew of the ship breathed a collective sigh of relief. They had escaped the clutches of Davy Jones, but the experience had changed them. They had faced the embodiment of their fears and emerged stronger for it. The tales of Davy Jones would no longer be mere stories. They were a testament to the power of the sea and the resilience of the human spirit. As they sailed onward, the memory of that encounter lingered in their hearts, a reminder of the fine line that separated life and death on the ocean. Thomas, now a seasoned sailor, carried the tales of Davy Jones with him, sharing them with others in the taverns and on the docks. The legend grew, evolving with each retelling, but the essence remained the same. Davy Jones was a keeper of souls, a guardian of the depths, and a reminder of the eternal dance between humanity and the vast, unpredictable sea. Years later, as Thomas sat in a tavern, sharing his own tale with a new generation of sailors, he realized that the stories of Davy Jones were not just about fear. They were about the choices we make, the love we seek, and the battles we fight against the darkness that threatens to consume us. In the end, Davy Jones was not just a figure of dread. He was a reflection of the human experience, a reminder that even in the face of despair, there is always hope, always a chance to reclaim one's destiny from the depths.